Hi, it's Jen with Astro T Astrology. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing the weekly forecast. Last week's weekly forecast, for some reason, I went a little bit long and I went through to the 10th. So on this video, we're really going to only focus on the 11th through the 15th. If you want to see what was going on earlier in the week for the 9th and the 10th, I'm going to leave a link to last week's forecast in the description box. So let's see what the rest of this week has in store. So first of all, on the 11th, we have Mercury moving into Leo. So this gives the feels of speeches, being in your need to shine. Leo is about kind of being in the center of attention, being the leader, and Mercury's about communication. So I see kind of on a global scale that you could see tomorrow or on the 11th a good day for presidential candidates to come out and give speeches. There's going to be that extra need to be in the forefront to communicate what your passions are, what you feel is right, and to communicate that with others. You might do that in a more showy kind of way, because Leo is very showy. It's got the mane, and so you could have extra hand expressions with your hands. You're going to seem a little more entertaining. People are going to seem a little more attractive. So really let yourself shine. If you have something that you need to get up, if you're even in school and you have to give an oral report, most people are not in school right now, but if you did, great time to be up in front of everybody, because you're just going to be more dynamic, more animated, more likable, more attractive, more able to really communicate what you have to say to others. So again, and then that's it moving into Leo. It's going to be there for a little while, but we also have it first squaring the nodes. So that's also happening on the 11th. So the nodes, if you remember from previous videos, so we have the North Node, which is kind of like the little headphones here. So it's about amplification, it's about making things bigger, going for that brass ring, kind of what your destiny is in this life and what you should, you feel you should be moving towards in this life to really succeed. So if you want a little more in-depth description, I do have a video on the nodes that I can leave in the description box. I'll leave a link to that so you can kind of get caught up if you're not familiar. So I'm not going to get totally into it today, but so we have Mercury in Leo. So we have Mercury going into Leo, and it is square both nodes really, so the north and the south. So they are just moving into there very shortly, but they're going to be in a square. So that's a 90-degree angle. Can be a little bit uncomfortable. Squares are a little uncomfortable at times. This is kind of like giving that presence that you're putting out there and making it more of a grandiose. So it's really going to be if you do see people out giving speeches, it's going to be over the top. They're going to be loud and boisterous and yelling to get their point across, and it's your moment to shine, and it's going to be their moment to shine. You're going to be like a go big or go home. Expect I would not be surprised if people, any of the presidential candidates, if any of those have astrologers on hand, they'll be recommending that they go out tomorrow and kind of, hit the town and, shake people's hands, kiss babies, and really get out there, because it's going to, that dynamicism and that, over the top, and this is what I'm going for, and I'm doing it, and, my quest is to be president, my quest is to be whatever your quest is. It's going to really help, especially whatever this is hitting in your own chart. So definitely pull your chart up, check it out. How is this going to play out in your life? You want to find out where Leo is in your life to see, what part of your life this might be having an effect. So, you know, everyone, these people, you know, whoever's putting themselves out, even if it's yourself, they might feel, you know, appear more dynamic. You're going to be using those natural talents, you know, from the South Node that you're getting from the past or from birth or your instincts to really be able to communicate your point and get your point across. Of course, because it is a square, you don't want to, you know, give false hope. That's again something with politicians. They, you know, empty promises, and they promise you the world, no new taxes, no, you know, we're gonna do all this, but, you know, stay within reason, do things that are, you know, logical, that are, you know, actually controllable, something that you can actually make happen instead of just empty promises. Then we have, again on the 11th, it's a busy day, we have Mars that's in Virgo. It's coming into a trine with the North Node. So again, it's that North Node, you know, presence that's really building this. So this is because the North Node is in Aries, or just about to head into Aries. So you know, you're getting a lot of Martian energy here. You know, you're gonna feel almost like indestructible, invulnerable, almost overly ambitious. You know, you are just, you know, don't take no for an answer, and you're going for it. Again, if you put all these kind of themes together, you can really see, you know, if you're working towards something tomorrow, you know, just go do it big. You know, probably going to be seeing that on the news and whatnot as well. So you want to just really convey your messages. You know, you can convey them to the world. You know, talk on YouTube. You know, put a little video out, or, you know, email or something. Communicate what you think needs to be done. Maybe something in the workplace. You know, unleash those desires. Unleash that drive. Don't wait. You take action. Tomorrow is a day that you want to, or the 11th is a day you want to really take action. But again, always want to keep things a little under control, because Mars is a malefic, and the North Node could potentially, you know, be a little too much. So you don't want to hurt other people. You know, with Mars, sometimes you might do or say things without thinking. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to hurt people. You don't want to say things that, you know, was going to be beneficial to some and hurtful to others. You kind of want to, you know, keep other people's feelings in mind if at all possible, and keep those, you know, the negative aspects of those, you know, the square. Well, this is in a trine, but and you know, the square with Mercury, so you want to watch your words, you want to watch the things that you say. Again, don't overpromise. So that is all that's going to be happening on the 11th. So again, you know, there's going to be build up before and build, you know, as separating after. So it's not always going to take place on one day, but, you know, tomorrow's kind of like the key day. So then we have on the 12th, we have Sun squaring Chiron. So Chiron, again, I have a previous video that describes this a little bit more in depth, so I'll leave a description also to that. Or I'll leave a link in the description to that video as well, so we can get a little bit brushed up on that. If you're unfamiliar with Chiron, he is your wounded healer. So he's the part of your life that kind of is your weak point, where you can't fix yourself, where you can't get rid of that pain, but you almost kind of use what you've learned from that to help others. So you may come face to face with these issues on the 12th. So again, you know, this is globally. So I'm going to kind of get into in a little bit kind of the United States and what I see going on with the United States and how it could be really pertinent to this, to the transits that are going on. And again, with Chiron, it's where it is in your chart, but this is, you know, on a global scale, they are they're going to be in a square. So this isn't going to be super comfortable. It could be something that you have to face that it isn't going to feel that good. It's going to be maybe abrasive. It's going to be emotional. Facing the fast to, you want to really just kind of let it play out. Something that I was thinking about, as I said, with the United States. So it got me thinking about, so I pulled up the United States chart and the transits. So Chiron is within, right now, 1 degree of its Chiron return in the United States chart. So it's within 1 degree, so it's a applying aspect. So it's, Chiron is coming to that face to face with facing, what that hurt was in the past. Also, of course, because it's a Sun and Chiron square, where is the Sun with the United States charts? Well, we just had United States birthday on the 4th, so that Sun and that whole square, Chiron's almost exact, and then the Sun is a little bit separating from its exact conjunction with its Sun. So what is it that in our history that could be, a wound that the United States might be trying to heal? So I went back, and now the Chiron, it takes about 50 years to go all the way around the chart. So think back into the United States history, about 50 years, so about 1973. What's been going on since then as this was starting its new cycle, this waxing cycle for about the next 25 years after that. So looking into the history, of course, we know, because it's been front and center in the news, is the Roe versus Wade decision that happened in 1973. Now, you see that, there's some people that are trying to end that and get rid of that, and then some that are trying to make it more accessible. So it's kind of, this going back and, what have we learned? What are we going to fix? What hurts did that cause, or what hurts are current decisions causing to us to think back and try and heal? That's, could be part of the Chiron in the United States chart. A couple other interesting things that I saw. So we had the 3 Mile Island nuclear fallout that was in 1979. It kind of made everybody not want to use and not trust nuclear energy. So people kind of pulled away from really, getting into that, how that was hurtful. So, how that, the fallout that happened around there really hurt, that area. It hurt the industry. And what does that mean? Another couple things that I find, a lot of people think are great inventions, but I think might be a little bit not so great at times. So the video game console, Atari, came out in 1977. So this was, if you lived in the 70s, you had this, I had this, all the video games, and people just got sucked in. Before that, there was a game called Pong, and you didn't really get sucked into that. It was 2 sticks and a ball going back and forth. And then when Atari came out, it was these pictures, and you could interact, and you could really do things, and they're all different games, and mazes, and driving, and all sorts of different things. And then we have the internet actually really becoming widely used starting in around 1993. So how are these two things hurtful? You think that these are great inventions, but kids these days, and I see it in my own children and the younger generation, even than that, like teenagers. I hear parents constantly complaining that all they do is they're on their video games and playing video games all day long, or they're on the internet, and you see people on the internet trying to, on Facebook trying to be the best, the most beautiful, on Instagram, these Instagram celebrities that, influencers that just want to be the best and most, popular. And this can actually be harmful to that person. You hear about these people becoming really depressed, when you start getting obsessive. So there are negatives to this kind of thing, and how are we going to regulate this? How are we as a nation, as a people, going to, regulate how much of this our children are exposed to in a day? How much are we going to allow our children to view on the internet that could be potentially harmful to them, that could be mentally abusive, mentally and emotionally hurtful to them? How are we going to help? How are we going to put restrictions on these things? So bad things don't happen. So, fake news doesn't come out, or, you're unsure of, like, is this being covered up? Is this being covered up? So there's pros and cons to everything. That just seems to be, to me, one of the cons. And I know, a lot of you would disagree with me on that, but, we all have our own opinion, which is, and, using that Mars, and in that square to Chiron, and then using your Mercury, you can explain the way you feel and say, maybe you can convince somebody that maybe they are putting too much time into being on the internet. So moving on the 14th, we have the sun that's currently in Cancer, and it is in a sextile with Uranus. So really opens you up to change. So if we're putting all this together, we're communicating our ideas. We're, over the top, expressive, and, really trying to get our points across and change the world for how we might think, grabbing that brass ring, really like trying to achieve. So, you want to be open to listening to these things, to understanding these changes. You want to embrace it. You want to break from your restrictions that have been holding you back, mental restrictions, your maybe just, your upbringing, maybe things that you were taught that you might want to rethink at times. Maybe that isn't the way. Maybe I should be more open-minded. Maybe I should be more closed-minded about some things. It's a good time to really just, be open to change. So we, around the world, we're, looking for like innovations, for, big breakthroughs. So, we want to adapt to these new and sudden changes. This is a positive aspect. So we want to really embrace these new ideas that might be coming out. One discovery that I just read about was that I guess they came out with a new pill or some kind of treatment for Alzheimer's that actually is starting to work. So this is a big innovation. It's a big change that could really help these people that really, when you get that diagnosis, it's just terrifying. So hopefully this, will bring that change that can help people, so that, this isn't such a scary, horrible thing, and maybe people can get help, have it prolonged before it gets, doesn't just get worse so fast. So another thing that we have going on, in the USA, same. We have the Uranus is in a trine with Neptune. They're transiting Uranus. It's in a trine with the natal chart of the United States, their Neptune. So it's about helping those in need. Taking care of the earth. We see that all the time with, people trying to, lessen your carbon footprint and, change, fuels, change maybe from, people want change from fossil fuels to, more natural kind of energy, windmills, things like that. So that is the Uranus. And then with the Neptune, it's really, you're caring about others, what they're doing for the homeless crisis that's going on in California. How are they going to change that? How are you going to help the people that are most in need? So, really those ideas, being about change, being kind of thinking outside the norm, those abstract changes. Then we have, with the sun, conjunct the sun, in the transiting natal chart of the United States, its intentions, motivations are activated. So how are we going to use good intentions to change things, to not hurt people, to help people? So look for all these themes that might be going on this week with speeches that are being given, with news that you're going to be hearing, the over-the-top speeches. They could be about global warming or climate change, or helping people. Really listen for it. So listen for what these transits can be actually meaning for the world around us. All of this that I try and explain are on a global scale. They also, when you pull up your own chart, you can run that with the transits and see where these are hitting and where these are appearing in your chart. Easy way to get your chart is to go to astro.com. You just need your birth time, your birthplace, and the birth date, and then you can get your chart up. And if you don't feel like going there and you want to get a chart from me, astrotastrology@gmail.com, just email me and I can get you that information. And if you want a little description of what I'm looking at when I look at your chart, just definitely ask for that and I can get you what you need. And I have all sorts of different services, from just quick little readings to longer, more in-depth readings. So please contact me. I'd love to hear from you guys. So that's about it for the rest of this week. So keep your eyes out for grandeur or grandiose expressions of communication, and be extra expressive and extra friendly and extra dynamic, and just put yourself out there. It's your time to shine, so go ahead and shine. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button if you like this video. Check the description for all the Chiron video, the last week's weekly forecast, and the nodes video that I'll have links for, and hit the notification bell for some upcoming very interesting videos. This is going to be a very interesting month, so I hope to see you soon. Have a good day. Bye.